Greg Kennedy. Everybody calls me Tiny. Yeah, right now I'm doing a band. Tonight we just played with Facecast. We don't play too often, you know what I mean? But we pretty much just go out to try to offend people, you know. We write like ridiculously heavy songs and with, you know, maybe some of the worst lyrics ever. They're good lyrics, but people seem to hate them. People kind of like, I don't know, love or hate us, you know what I mean? And other than that, I'm doing this band, The Killing Condition, death metal band. It's going really well. Plan on going to Europe, you know, hopefully with the summertime, everything works out right.
Devoted, I guess you could say, hardcore scene.
Right.
And then a punk scene.
Okay.
That's a city, and a city of all different pockets of people.
Mm-hmm.
In a town like this, people tend to either stick together. I mean, you tell me your reflections on that.
Well, I don't know, I guess it all depends. I mean, when I was doing this band Straight Jacket, you know, we played with punk rock bands, we played with metal bands, you know. That was a while ago. I mean, you know, and the same thing, you know, when I did Wasteform, we played with, you know, all sorts of bands. But I kind of understand what you're saying. You know, it seems like the heavy music kind of sticks together, you know what I mean? You know, but yeah, you know, it's united, you know what I mean? But it's just not completely whole. You know, it needs some work still, you know what I mean? You always talk about like how things were, you know, things were great, but there was holes back then too, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's hard to get everybody involved in the same like movement, you know what I mean, music, you know. But, you know, you do what you can. You know, you try to, you know, branch out, you know, best you can.
What the cause was?
Man, you know, the show tonight was just like just a bunch of bands getting back together, you know what I mean? You know, with the exception of like Facecast, you know, we still kind of play out here and there, but, you know, to see Section 8, you know, original lineup and Skinless, you know what I mean, with their, you know, best lineup, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain what the show is, you know, I'm still trying to take it in, you know what I mean? Being part of it was like, you know, it was great, you know, to be called and, you know, then like, you know, you've been part of the scene for a long time, we like you to play, you know what I mean? So that was an honor, you know, and everybody killed it. You know what I mean? It was great to play first and fucking get to watch all the bands, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was great. It was, it's so hard to put in words what it was, you know what I mean? It's just like all feeling, you know? Everybody just kind of felt like the same way, you know? Not many problems tonight. It was cool, you know?
First fight of the night was, I believe, 2 girls.
I think so, yeah. They go hard.
Pretty ironic considering your band's your band tonight's most iconic song is Wife Beater.
Right. People seem to like that. It's a lot of plays, almost 200,000 on YouTube, and it was taken down once. But, you know, people protest our shows. It's hard to play out sometimes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a joke. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's offensive, and, you know, it's kind of what we're going for, you know. But that's what makes people like us or hate us. Either way, they both buy our shit.
Yeah. That's it. Well, kids were slamming to your shit, so I mean,
yeah.
It was a very solid performance.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Great job. Great job.
I had a fucking blast.
Talk a little bit about the struggles that you went through in life that brought you to this community, and the stuff that keeps you, you know, keeps you venting. What do you do? What are the kind of things that make you frustrated in life?
Well, you know, when I really got into this music, I was living in Cahoes. You know, I'm originally from Troy, but it's just like everybody kind of got together for the music. You know, people were coming from broken homes. You know, some were fine. You know what I mean? I've had all sorts of shit. You know, bad drug abuse in my family. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like an outlet, somewhere for me to go where I could, you know, be with like a bunch of my friends, fucking all into the music. You know, leaving there, you know what I mean? Just kind of like, I don't know. They're your family when your family wasn't there, pretty much, you know what I mean? So some of these guys are like more than my family, you know. I love my family, don't get me wrong. But some of these guys were here through some really tough times, you know.
The community has lost some people as well over the years.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of friends, fucking, you know, a lot of my family, you know, bad thing. You know, suicide on my side of the family, you know, my dad's side. So it's tough, you know, everybody has their own, like, cross to bear, you know what I mean? Nobody's is like, you know, any more great or any more deserving than anybody else is. It's all the same shit, just trying to, get everything out so you can go back and face reality, you know what I mean? With like, a little bit of like more relaxation, so you're not just like all tense all the time. I mean, it's so hard to put into words what this means, what the music means, to us and everybody, But I mean, the show tonight, it was great,
Bands you came up with.
Yeah.
And I guess some of those who played tonight, talk a little bit about those bands.
Yeah, like the first few bands I really got into locally were Flat Broke, and Drown, which turned out to be One King Down, you know what I mean? Because, they were from Cahoes, you know what I mean? Everybody liked fucking Flat Broke. It was like, I don't know, it's like all these, and like, the people just keep going and playing in different bands, you know what I mean? And like the next bands they do are better than the ones they did, you know what I mean? But I was huge in the Stigmata, and fucking, I wasn't around too much for any of the Cranial Abuse shows, but I got all their shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, and the bands tonight, these guys have, these guys were playing shitty shows fucking on Tuesday nights, just like, Straight Jacket was, you know what I mean? And then it's like, the bands around that time, they kind of like all picked up, I don't know if it was like everybody helping each other or what it was, but it was just like, with Withstand and One King Down and Section 8, Cutthroat, of course, you know what I mean, Stigmata, my band Straight Jack, we just kind of like all, are able to like get these like really big fan bases and these awesome, local shows that really haven't been that big in a long time. And tonight was a perfect example. Section 8 gets back together, and it's the biggest crowd I've fucking ever seen in this place. And well worth it. They put on a great show, you know what I mean? Yeah. They were fantastic.
What are the kind of things that inspire you in life? The things that keep you going?
Man, the one thing that's really kept me going is just music, you know what I mean? The ability to tour and just like, to get like everything I have out of me and and share it with people. It's music is like it's got me out of everything, you know what I mean? Hard drugs, you know what I mean? All sorts of just like I owe so much to like pretty much Wasteform, you know what I mean? Because it really got me out of the country, and I definitely had different members, but good relationships with everyone still, you know what I mean? And you can call any of them, fucking. But yeah, music's always what's kept me going, get me out of everything, keeps me straight. I get everything out. If
you know the words, feel free, step up.
There are so many things that drive people down.
Yeah.
In the world. What are some of these things that you see dragging everyone down around us? Because people are struggling nowadays. They've always been, and now they're still struggling.
Yeah, the poor economy. Everybody's working harder and making less. And it's just like it's putting a struggle on everybody. You can see it in their faces. Even like friends I haven't seen in a while just look so beaten down. You know what I mean? And everybody has the same story. They're not making enough. They got a few kids. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It always gets me down, and kind of like how the government just kind of like, just feeds us whatever we want to hear. You know what I mean? And then just does whatever they want. And they don't really care. It's all for the rich people. People like us are just like, we're kind of fucked. We got to do whatever we can to fucking survive. You know what I mean? You talk to some other people. The stories are crazy, but yeah.
What are some of the, I guess, I don't know, crazier or more kind of cutthroat ways that you've had to survive over the years?
Man, I've had to do so many things, from like squat from fucking house to house, you know what I mean? Fucking sleep on couches to fucking, you know what I mean? Being so broke that, it was only ramen noodles. You know what I mean? My family's always been poor. Hard workers just never had anything. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was just sometimes they didn't make the best choices. You know what I mean? I think at first I started picking up that, but luckily I was able to get my shit straight. But yeah, man, I've had to, never had to go on public assistance or anything, but it's been close. I've been homeless a lot, more so like back, years ago, but I mean, right now I'm doing okay.
What's some wisdom that you could offer people going through crap, hard times, to, I guess, I don't know, survive and get past the tough shit?
You got to talk to people. You got to get it out. If you hold everything in, it just leads to, everything snowballs, you know what I mean? What's helped me is, like, I had a big problem with, like, just keeping everything to myself, you know what I mean? And I would, like, go crazy, you know what I mean? I have the worst shit happen. But, man, you got to talk to people. You got to tell people what's going on, Sometimes it seems like they don't want to hear it, but you got to get it out, or you're just going to fucking die inside slowly, you know what I mean? Or explode and fucking, then you're shot. Your mind's shot, Yeah.
Any other things that you want to offer people from your experience? Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta stay strong. Shit does get better, even when it seems like it's absolutely there's no way it can. And there's way people that have way sadder stories than any of us. You know what I mean? And they're kind of like you just see people with smiles on their faces, and I don't know how they can get through it when I'm like crying for little shit that's going on. You know what I mean? But no, you just gotta like stay strong. You know what I mean? Just get through every day. It's eventually gonna get better. It has to. It's just like a rule, Yeah. Right on.
So what's next for you in your, I guess, music career? People, know you quite well.
Well, what we're doing is I'm going for like full forward with this band, The Killer Condition. I really like it. It's it's heavy. There's a lot of like melody. And the guys are cool. We already got a little bit of interest, so we're kind of stoked about that. We're working on the tour. Maybe do another Facecast show. I don't know, and maybe a Straight Jacket reunion down the road. It's going to be 20 years in 2015, so.
Over the years, people congratulate you on having lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
In your younger days, you were quite large.
Exactly.
You're a big boy.
I think that's why today they brought the pizza when we were playing, so the other bands could play. They thought I was just going to go and house it. But yeah, I lost like 170 pounds, you know what I mean? Just like started eating better, working out, you know what I mean? I was way too big. And now I kind of feel just like, wicked young. And the best part is I look so much younger than my friends. I come here, I can't believe how old they look. You're going to kill me for saying that, but they do. I age well.
Beautiful. A humble character, I like that. It's awesome. Advice for people, young guys, girls, guys, whatever, how to meet people, how to get, how to attract the opposite sex.
Facebook. Everybody meets everybody on Facebook. Not me. And always just listen to the girl, because you're never going to win. You're never going to win the argument. And then, you get nothing. Take an extra long shower with your fucking hand.
Those are some wise words right there. That probably saved a lot of lives, actually.
I think it did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard being, me sometimes, But I am a lifesaver. Thank you for pointing that out.
You're doing community service here.
Saving lives.
That's a good note to finish on, and thank you very much for your time, brother.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Great to see you here, and everyone's so important to each other. It's really great to see.
It was great, man. Thank you so much.